Da 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 What's up, guys? What's up, girls? What's up, everyone between? I'm about to start. I'm just trying to make sure that we are live because it maybe like reset all of my like streaming, maybe like log in again and stuff. Okay, so we're live on Twitch with audio. Let's check. Yep, sounds good to me. And we're live on YouTube again with audio. Yep, sounds good to me again. Cool. So I am on both. So I don't know about the streamer awards. We're gonna go through. There's a bunch of award shows. I'm just gonna skim, see if there's like any like streamers that I actually like. I didn't think there'd be anyone that I recognize. I mean, Casual, yeah, 100%. Can't mute it from here. Sorry, best brand partner probably Red Bull because of the events that they do. But yeah, a lot of these I don't actually know. Crazy that Ninja is still nominated. I do like Aussie antics, like streams and stuff. Lily Peachy streams fighting games. Really did not know that. See, I'm gonna skip the ones that I don't know because it's unfair for me to vote in a category that I don't really know about, right? Best Minecraft streamer. Damn, only Tubbo from the old crew has continued on. Best Marvel Rivals streamer presented by Marvel Rivals. Okay, buddy. Best FPS streamer. See, this Burnt Peanut guy sounds really good, but I know Oni, and I like Oni. Best strategy game streamer. What strategy games does Northern Lion stream? Does he stream StarCraft, TFT chess? Jinxie as well, really? Best IRL streamer. I mean, it's definitely Speed. Best vertical live streamer. Okay. That's just TikTok. Stream game of the year. That's a good one. It's got to be Peak. Best content org. Nah, I'm not gonna vote for that. What was the org that Mouse was a part of? It wasn't Hololive. It was the other one, right? VShojo. All right, I'm gonna have to mute. I'm gonna have to mute that stuff. Over here. Let me just log into WhatsApp on my other browser so that I can mute it. That's the only annoying thing about WhatsApp. Like I have to manually open it. Cool. So that is all muted now. Best international streamer. Don't know any of them. Best stream duo. Aussie Dog and I'm sure. I did like the Asian Emily Elden Ring thing they did. Sakura Shimeko. That's her name. Did not know that. Best streamed collab. Pokemon did a collab with Cat's Eye? Did not know that. Kyla Bron, I saw some of that. Cinnazolina, who the hell is that? Fred again, Playboy, yeah, I don't know many of these. Stream for Humanity, Speed Does America. This was like so scuffed. Mafia Thron, Face Subathon. Looks like we're getting to the end of the subathons. Yeah, I don't know most of these. Fortnite Friday. Best VTuber Iron Mouse. Burnt Peanut, I guess. Technically is one, yeah. What was this? Best Variety? Don't know. Best Just Chatting. Rising Star. I guess Sakura probably gets that. Best Breakout Streamer. Isn't that the same thing? League of Their Own. Sure. The Sapphire Award. I think Emiru deserves. That's the only thing I've seen Emiru in, and I think she deserves an award this year. What is it for? Best female shines against the odds in a male-dominated industry. That's definitely Emiru. I mean, you can make an argument for everyone, I'm sure. Gamer of the year. Interesting. Oni doesn't really play games, but if he's in this category, he is the gamer that I have enjoyed watching the most this year. But I don't really watch him play games. He's a co-streamer. Stream of the year. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would put. It's probably Speed or Jason. I mean, Speed had a really bad big event, the Speed as America, so I guess Jason takes it. Submit all of those, all the ones I skipped. Those can be skipped. Speaking of co-streamers and casual and stuff, we've also got the League Award, and then we're going to do the Game Awards. That's a big one. So, what have we got here? Let's think. Chevy Shockwave finds them all. The base defender was pretty sick. The Anivia play. The Guma play. The Carrier Wolf play might be the play of the year. We'll see a Bard. Carrier fake out. Dude, I think it's one of the carrier plays, to be honest. I think the Zoe, the BD Zoe, but like I'm the kind of guy that I'll say like T1's overhyped and stuff because they just win everything and everyone sucks them off. So you need someone that says they're overhyped. But I think it actually might be the carrier fake out. Fan art, I'm not sure. Let's just look. I think that looks. Oh, didn't know what I. How do I vote? There we go. Cool. Content piece of the year: Mundo push push push. As long as there is delusion, World's Finals teaser, Ludwig's grind to plat. That's honestly probably it. League Law, League of Hard Stark, Give Me Chaos. Isn't that another LEC thing? Give Me Chaos. Because that's Odoamne, isn't it? Yes. This was good though. This was really good. That's Callista in there, yeah. The Noxus thing's pretty sick. So they've got the World's Finals teaser and the Noxus thing. They've got a G2 video and an LEC video. But yeah, I think it is Ludwig's grind to play. I mean, that made a lot of people get interested. Broadcast talent. I do really like Dracos and Medic. I think they did great. Jisa and Emily were great at Worlds. I think shocked that Shox isn't on here. Oh, I know why Shox isn't on here because she's hosting. So it's probably Law then. But I think Shox is the best of the year. But I think Shox and Law together have done quite a lot. And I mean, I watch LEC, so that's the primary region that I watch. And obviously, like watching LCK and stuff, you don't understand what the content is. So I really watch all that. Moment of the year. 100 Thieves beating BLG. That's interesting. Team repeat. Farewell Peanut. Goodbye Chronicler. Owner first times Mundo. Honestly, it's probably KT beating Genji. For me, personally. For me, that's the moment of the year. Community Creator of the Year. Baus, probably. Baus or Thumbs. Esports Creator of the Year. This is a good one. I would say Cadril, but he's obviously not on here. So I guess I'll take Dom. Poro's great. Poro's always great, I must say. And LPL English did a lot. If Naimira was on here, I would go Naimira. Rookie of the Year. This is such an easy one for me. Vladdy has been fantastic though, but Callista just didn't make the cut. Diable was great. It's hard to vote for Diable because you're comparing him to such great talents, but in that context, like Diable is probably a better player than like Callista and Skumond, but he's against like such good talent. Hongq, man, if I had zero bias, I might give it to Hongq. You guys should vote for Hongq, but I got to give it to Skumond. Team of the Year. Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. That's really tough. Casey's just going to win that probably. The fact that they're even nominated is ridiculous. Like, look at these nominations. G2, Koi, KC from the LEC. Genji, T1, Hanwha, KT. So all four LCK Worlds teams. AL from the LPL, FlyQuest from the LCS, and CFO from the PCS. So it's all 4 Korean teams, and then the top 3 LEC teams, and then 1 team from every other region. That's hard. My favorite team this year, like I'm a G2 head, but my favorite team this year was Hanwha. I really wanted them to do well. Zeus Zeka, such a good combo. 2 of my favorite players of all time. And they're Korean, so there's like more of an opportunity for them to do well, as opposed to like, G2, who I always expected wouldn't do well. Player of the year, that one is hard. Player of the year cannot be BDD because he wasn't the best player all year, right? How do you vote? Like, it's not like Faker or Carry because they only put it off at Worlds. So maybe it's Viper because they made won first stand. They still did well through the whole season, despite Viper playing into Ruler, Chovy, Keen, Canyon, Faker, Guma, Owner, Carrier. Like, Viper was still doing really well all year. And at Worlds, he was like the most 1v9 player. BDD was like the second most, but Viper was by far the most 1v9 player. So I understand why he's fucking leaving HLE. LTP player of the year. This one's easy. This one's Honkyu. 100% Honkyu. That guy is fantastic. I can't wait to see what we get from him next year. LCK player of the year. So I don't, because I've already voted Viper player of the year, this one I'm going to give to Chovy. Because, yeah, BDD didn't do enough domestically. Chovy did. LPL player of the year. That one's really hard. That one's really hard, actually. Who stood out this year for me? Wow, I actually don't know. I'm looking at these, and these aren't the players that I think of. I guess LPL was like hard to keep track of this year because it's kind of been getting like less and less co-streamers and stuff. It's also hard to see which team these guys run. So this is Tess, this is Tess, this is Tess. Tess did do well. Yeah, maybe it is Carnaby. I think it's Carnaby. LCA player of the year. That is a really good question. It's probably Inspired. Could give it to Whip for the memes, but no, I think it's Inspired. And then LEC player of the year. That's tough. That's really tough. Elioya. I don't know, man. I kind of want to give it to Skewmon, but I feel like he didn't have a good enough year. I feel like I like Skewmon and he has such a high ceiling, but we haven't seen that yet. It might be Hans, to be honest. I mean, I think the fact that Kalist came in so hyped up and Hans Summer still made it to Worlds over him and such, and still like looked good in the league against him and against Super and stuff. Like, it's weird. Hans never seems to get like all the hype and praise and stuff because he's such an old player now. Like, he's been there for so many years. But these rookies are coming in, these mega hyped up rookies. Like, Kalist is going to save LEC. He's going to be the guy to carry KC to Worlds. They're going to win Worlds off of Kalist. That's what we hear coming into 2025. And then Hans Summer is just his father. Like, so where do I submit? All the way down the bottom? Submit votes. Cool. Now we get to the big categories. So I think we're going to go back to front here. Now, this is tough because it's Gen G who couldn't get it done in the back half. I think we have to take Vitality. And then we go previous category. Best Athlete of the Year. I think we got to go Zywoo. I think that's just obvious. Then we go next category. Best Esports Game. That's tough. I actually think it might be CS this year. Like, it's close. I would almost give it to CS this year. If the major had happened, I would give it to CS. That's the thing. The Counter-Strike major hasn't happened yet. It happens in December. So it's hard. It probably happens before this event, though, doesn't it? Because it's like December 11th or something. Content Creator of the Year, this for me is obviously Casual. I've never even heard of Sakura or the Burnt Peanut before now. Most anticipated game for me is The Witcher 4, 100%. But most anticipated this year, it might be 007 to be honest. Okay, it's a bit of a weird one because 007 and Resi Requiem come out in the next 6 months. So for me, they're very anticipated and top of my mind. Like The Witcher 4 doesn't even have a release date. It might not come out until like 2030. GTA 6 is probably getting delayed. Wolverine as well, I don't think has a release date. So these games are probably like 2027 at the earliest. So for me, I'm like, well, I probably get to vote for these again next year. And they're not like I anticipate them, but they're not coming anytime soon. So maybe it is 007 First Light. That's my logic, but I think we'll stick with The Witcher 4. Best adaptation. That's it's funny that Until Dawn is in here and Minecraft. A lot of bad stuff. I think did Last of Us win for season one? I think Last of Us is just good in general. Madison's good. Mazen's good. I'll give it to Peak regardless. I think independent game winning is good. Battlefield 6 is like fallen off of a cliff. I think Arc Raiders has buried Battlefield 6. But then Arc Raiders I don't think is gonna last much longer either. Like it's a tough one to be honest. Night Rain could win. Best sports racing. I mean, it's got to be rematch, right? And then best sim strategy. Okay, interesting one here. Oh, the Alt is 100%. Wow, crazy that that's even in this category. Best family game. Family game. Donkey Kong, I guess, is co-op, as is Split Fiction, but those aren't family games. Those are like couple games, I feel like. As is Voyages. So I guess it's probably Mario Kart. A family game has to be a game that has like 4 players minimum, right? Best fighting game. 2K, I can take my vote, whatever. Some to shake it up. Best RPG. Best RPG. This is a tough one. I never really liked the Monster Hunter franchise, and I haven't played the Outer Worlds 2. I didn't like the Outer Worlds 1 that much, and the Outer Worlds 2 pricing was like crazy ridiculous for me. Kingdom Come 2, I played couple like 2 hours ish. I played 2 hours ish of Kingdom Come 2, and I played like 3-4 hours of Player Obscure, and I didn't love either of them. Um, Shockingly, I actually really like Avowed, especially like for the first couple of hours that I played of all 3 of these games. I felt like KCD2 wasn't my kind of game, but if I played like 10 hours, I might get into it. Clair Obscure also felt like I needed to get used to playing a turn based game, and then maybe I would like it, but it didn't really hook me, and I had a lot of issues with the first couple of hours that I played. Like, and it sucks because everyone hypes it up, and I feel like it's like when I loved Cyberpunk and everyone was like, no, there's so many issues with Cyberpunk. I had a bunch of issues with Clair Obscura, like between stuttering, hitching, whatever you call it, and it crashing once, and then just a bunch of like game bugs that I noticed that I don't know. Like a lot of people point out bugs in Cyberpunk, and I'm just like, enjoy the game. Just ignore the bugs. What are we talking about? Like, it's a great game if you don't look at this guy eating a burger that he never takes a bite out of. But then when I played Clair Obscura, I noticed all the bugs. I think it's just because it gives you this free reign in this open world section at the start to run around and look at stuff. And I tried to explore that whole area, and I just kept running into bugs and stuff that kind of broke my immersion. So then by the time I got to the combat, my immersion was already a little bit broken and the combat was not fun. So honestly, it's Avowed, but I think that's fine. Outer Worlds 2 might be the better version of Avowed, but I haven't played it, to be honest. Have not played it. Best action adventure. Best action adventure. I guess Indiana Jones, right? Best action game. Probably Hades 2. Could be Doom. Could be Battlefield, but Battlefield would be like best FPS, best VR AR. Hmm. The Midnight War, handcrafted game, fantastic. Best mobile game. Umusume. It's probably not in any other category, and it is like one of the best games of the year. So there you go. Best debut indie game. So these are the weird categories here. Best debut indie game. I reckon Claire wins this. I reckon Blueprints is going to be the second most voted. But I don't think either of these. I think it's a bit unfair to put these in here, man. Like, if Claire Obscure is nominated and probably going to win Game of the Year, why is it also going to knock out Despelote, Megabonk, and Dispatch for winning Best Debut Indie Game? Like, that's kind of sad. And then this one confuses me so much. Outside the publisher system, but then you have like Devolver Digital, man. Like, like I don't understand what we're saying. Like, are we saying that the publishers have to be like listed on the New York Stock Exchange, like Tencent, EA, Microsoft, and if they're just like an established developer with like 100 games published, that doesn't count? Because I think that's a bit weird. But I think the thing that makes this extra weird for me is that Megabonk and Dispatch are self-published, no publisher. And I think, if I remember correctly, Blueprints was like Blueprints and Despelote were self-published and then picked up publishers later. But they're not in this category. Like, you've got Team Cherry Supergiant, makes sense. Blueprints, I think, makes sense. I think Raw Fury came on to publish after release or after a lot of the work had been done. But like Devolver Digital, Dotemu, Kepler, really? Like, these three games should be in debut indie, if anything, and then the other games should be in here. Anyway, in terms of best independent game, the best game made outside the publisher system, if it's without a publisher and we're voting between Hades 2 and Silksong, it's Silksong, obviously, I think. Now, this is a category that I actually have a lot of thoughts about. Fortnite should not be in here at all. Fortnite has fallen off in community support for years, and they've gotten worse and worse with community support. Like, I don't understand how they're on here. Like, No Man's Sky is on here because they do updates, they talk to the community a lot and stuff. Helldivers 2 as well, there's a lot of stuff. Final Fantasy. I don't know what Baldur's Gate 3 is doing, but the fact that it keeps getting nominated makes me think that it must be doing something good. But like, why is Fortnite on here? Like, responsiveness, sure. Social media activity and game updates for Fortnite, sure. But there's no community support and transparency for Fortnite. And the responsiveness is, I would almost say, not that good either. Like, I don't know why Fortnite is nominated this year, man. Maybe I'm just becoming a hater. Best ongoing. See, now this one I agree with, and I do think that Fortnite is just like has and always will be one of the best ongoing games of all time until we just stop updating it. Like, they've set a standard that is just so hard to compete with. Games for impact. It's probably Despelote, but it could be Lost Records, to be honest. I mean, games for impact. Games for impact, yeah. Innovation in accessibility. Honestly, Ubisoft usually does really well here, right? Adamfall, I don't think did that much. Doom, I can't imagine. I'd have to see what wins, but Ubisoft actually usually does like really, really well with accessibility features, to be honest. Best performance. I don't want to give it to, I think, Konatsu or Erica should win. They should have best male, best female performance, by the way. They should have best male, best female, and best debut performance. Because Erica and Konatsu should be in like debut performance. And then like Troy and Charlie Cox should be in best male performance. But like, how are we putting like a bloody A-list celebrity and like the GOAT of video games who has like a good performance every year and is like a star against like Konatsu Kato, who I don't think has ever done anything. I think I think Konatsu is probably the most likely to win out of these two because I know a lot of people hate Erica, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll vote for that best audio design. Best audio design. And that's a tough one. I think it's just Claire Obscura, to be honest. I think a lot of the why is it loading? I think a lot of the awards at the top end here are just going to go to Claire Obscura. Now this one's really tough. This one's really tough because I think the soundtracks of Hades 2 and Claire Obscura are fantastic. I haven't heard much, if anything at all, from Ghost of Yotei. I really, really like Woodkid. Woodkid was one of my favorite artists. He's on my playlist. He's just this like I thought he was just like this underground guy. He released a bunch of banger albums that have been on my playlist for years, and then he disappeared. I guess he's been working on Death Stranding too. Makes me really want him to win. But then Chris, I know at least somewhat. I've interacted with him a couple of times, and I interviewed him for a school project way, way, way back in the day. So I feel like I can't not want to see Chris up there, even though it's like barely anything. I mean, he's a local, and then I've literally talked to him about his process of making music for games for a school project in year 9, I think it was, year 10, star tertiary thing. Yeah, I, bit of bias. Best art direction. Yeah, now this is another one. I think 7 years of hand drawn art. It just looks so fucking incredible. I think Ghost of Yotei and Death Stranding 2 shouldn't be nominated, to be honest. I think the art of Death Stranding 2 that's good is actually game direction. I don't think it should be nominated for art direction, nor should Ghost of Yotei, to be honest. I think Claire Obscura is going to win, and I think probably deserved. Best narrative is almost definitely Claire Obscura. I haven't finished it, but out of these games, I didn't get hooked on these, and I don't really know much about Yotei, but Death Stranding 2 is just too wacky, too weird. Now, see, art direction, Silksong, but game direction, Claire Obscura, 100%. 100%. If anything other than Claire Obscura wins, I think it's just rigged. I could see Fires winning for Split Fiction, but that would kind of be like a nepotism award. Now, Game of the Year. Which category didn't I vote for? Best action game. Yes, I did. Didn't I vote for Indiana Jones? They removed Indiana Jones? The fuck? Where did Indiana Jones go, man? What wasn't there a? Oh, okay. Okay, so Game of the Year. This is the big one. Guys. This one's hard, man. Donkey Kong is just here for some reason, even though it's like not best in any category. Not even like a top 5 game, or how many is there in every category? 6? 5. Even though Donkey Kong isn't top 5 in any category, it's somehow top 6 games of the year. Maybe technically maybe it is top 6 in a lot of categories. So because it's like it's just like 6th in most categories, it ends up at the top. I don't know. Can't see that. But I would think that Donkey Kong should have been nominated for game direction. And I would make the argument that it could be the best game direction of the year. I think it's second. I think it's Claire Obscura, Donkey Kong. What's on game direction? I think it's Claire Obscura, Donkey Kong, Split Fiction, Hades 2, Death Stranding 2. Those one would be my top 5. I think Donkey Kong should be second in this category. Yeah, okay. So I don't think it's Death Stranding 2. I don't think it's Death Stranding 2. Um, and I just didn't get hooked on Death Stranding 2, so I didn't play the entire thing. But I also did not hear enough about Death Stranding 2. Like when Death Stranding 1 came out, I heard a lot about it. Death Stranding 2 did not have that same level of discussion happening to where I was like, oh, I should play this. KCD2 I just couldn't get into, but for some people, that's their game of the year. I just couldn't get into it. Hades 2, I think is really, really good, but Hades 2 does not. It's just Hades 2. I mean, maybe Hades fans can tell me differently, but Hades 2 is just Hades 2, which is what people want. But it is not like. And Hades won game of the year. Hades 2 doesn't need to win game of the year. And I don't think it did enough over the original Hades. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's between Clair Obscura and Hollow Knight Silksong. I think a lot of people are going to vote for Clair Obscura. And I think it's like a deserved voting. Like, it's a fantastic game. I didn't like fall in love with it instantly, but I did really like it. But I just think how cool would it be to see a two-man studio with one coder and one artist that outsource one guy to do the music and one guy to do the marketing. How cool would it be to see them win? Like I've heard the discussion that like Clair Obscura winning because they have a team of like 35 people plus outsourcing is great. Shows what indies can do. But like imagine a team of two. Imagine Ari and is it Matt winning? Who I've also met a couple of times. 4 or 5 times. So maybe that's my bias. Local team winning. I think as well for me would be such a like rubbing of the nose to the government here that just refused to help the games industry for so many years. And Hollow Knight didn't really win anything. Hollow Knight came out and then got a claim after that. If I'm correct, um, we can like double check that right now. Um, but I'm pretty sure that we'll see that Hollow Knight, yeah, it was nominated for some stuff, right? Like Australian Game Awards, which I don't even think is a thing anymore. Um, like yeah, Australian Screen Sound Guild was like one of the only awards that it won. Best debut indie game. How did it lose best debut indie game, by the way, to who? Let's go check. Best debut indie game, guys. It lost to Cuphead. I understand. I understand. It's not like, oh, that's undeserved. But I mean, see, this is the thing. Like, Hollow Knight came out and still didn't even win like a Game of the Year award. Came out like very early and on PC only, and then it came to like Switch, PS4, got like updates through 2017, 2018, and I think that's when it became like this solid thing that everyone started playing. I mean, that's why I think years later it's getting nominated and winning other awards. Yeah, like 2018. That's after like all the DLCs come out. Of course, Independent Game of the Year. Like, there's no other independent Australian games. I swear to God. But yeah, like Hollow Knight was nominated for only one Game of the Year award. So I think because of that, I think it's like a Revenant situation as well. This is my argument, where I think the studio, Team Cherry, deserves to win an award. Because Hollow Knight is like a lot of people's top 10 games of all time. And a lot of people, if they don't hate Metroidvanias, Hollow Knight and Silksong are in their top 10 or top 5 games of all time. Hollow Knight and Silksong, I mean, definitely Silksong is top 5 game of all time for me, and I hear that Hollow Knight is even better. I still have to play it fully. The like 2 hours that I played of it, really, really good. So I think for me, Hollow Knight should have won a bunch of awards. It didn't. And Silksong is Hollow Knight 2. But I think compared to Hades 2 and Kingdom Come 2, Silksong does so much more. the 2 hours that I played comparatively, like it has such a better tutorial. It has such better art direction and coloring. Like it's just so the world is so much more beautiful to look at, in my opinion. I think some of the musical tracks are just they're stuck in my head. They're so good. And I think the gameplay loop and the boss design is so good. Like I prefer I mean, unfortunately Silksong is my first Hollow Knight, so of course I'm always gonna prefer it pretty much. But I think personally, from the like 2, 3 hours of Hollow Knight I played and like 200 hours of Silksong I've played, I think Silksong is leaps and bounds above Hollow Knight. And I think if Hollow Knight is a inarguably top 10 game of all time for most people that have played it, and that's like we're talking like 20 million people or something, right? And it's an indie game that has sold like immensely. And then I think Silksong is inarguably better. I think in like 5 years' time we'll come to see that as well, especially once all the DLCs come out and all the patches and yada yada yada. But I think I've seen a lot of Metroidvania listings, and people say that Hollow Knight is the best Metroidvania of all time. Like it's literally just every other, like even the best Metroidvania is an 8 out of 10, and then Hollow Knight is just a 10 out of 10. I think Silksong, even if you don't think it's the best game of all time, I think Silksong is just inarguably better than Hollow Knight. I think it would be crazy for someone to argue. Like I think you can make the argument that Hollow Knight is your favorite over Silksong, but I think Silksong is just in every way a better game, other than maybe the music. Anyway, all of that is to say, I think it just so deserves this. And I think I think if it doesn't win, I think in 5 years we will see, we will look back and we should say that it should have won. Because I don't think they're going to do another game. Um, it depends actually how old they are, how old the boys are. But I don't think they're going to do another game. Like Ari's like 30 something, right? 42 even. I think they've made enough money, man. Like, I don't think they're going to spend another 7 years on a game. Because here's the thing that you have to think about, right? Like, are they both in their 40s? Probably. Yeah. Doesn't say. You just had another child. He's probably like late 30s, if anything. Does it say? Just says when he was born, but yeah, they're probably about the same age. He has kids. Ari is 42 and does not. Anyway, point that I wanted to make is at 42, he's going to be 43 next year. Even if they get all the DLC out next year, which I doubt, you're going to be turning 44. Do you really want to commit to making another game until you're 50? Maybe. Maybe they do. But it's possible that Silksong is the last game that they make. I mean, it's possible that they say, hey, we made two of the best games of all time, two of the best Metroidvanias of all time. We made like a Game of the Year version of Hollow Knight. We made a Game of the Year version of Silksong with like 2 years worth of DLC. I'm like turning 45 next year. We're just going to retire. I mean, going out after Hollow Knight, Silksong, and DLC for both, I mean, that's a good way to go out. Dude, he worked on the Blob? Yo, that's such a fire fucking game. That's such a fire game. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I would have asked him that. I saw they showed, dude, it's so annoying. They showed, let me show you guys. I don't know if I can find like photos of this. I can. Yeah. So there's this convention. It's much bigger now. But there's this convention in Adelaide. I can't really find stuff. This is I guess this is what it looks like now. Yeah. Artist Alley, there we go. I think I actually have photos of it, but I'd have to like pull them up. Anyway, this is just a convention center, right? This is where I had my graduation ceremony in this building here. But they just put like a bunch of art up here, and then where were we? And then inside, see, this is where I had my graduation. There's a wall here. They don't usually have the wall here, but they just have booths. You see, so each of these is like a booth with people, and then they have a little room. Yeah. They have a little room on the. I mean, you can see it's in the same hall, right? And they just have people showing off games. Um, it's so bad. Um, damn. Yeah, I went one year to check out Icebox because one of my mates was making this game. But yeah, they just have this tiny little room. Anyway, one of the big games that was being shown off, and my friend and I've been talking about this like ever since Silksong came out, and ever since Silksong's been like a thing. They just had something like this, right? And they had like a Hollow Knight sign, and they were like showing off Hollow Knight because we went in 2015, 16, 17, 18. We went 2013 to 2018 actually. But I remember like 2015 going for Icebox, and in 2016 I did an interview with the Icebox developer, and we did a couple of vlogs and videos together and stuff. Anyway, there was a Hollow Knight booth and stuff, but there were so many people in the line that we saw it, and we spoke with, I think it was William. I would need to see their photos, but I think it was William that spoke to us, and he was telling us about the game, and he was explaining it as it's Metroidvania and stuff. And my friend Eric, who's been on the channel, was like, "Oh, that sounds really cool," and I was like, "I don't really like those kind of games." And anyway, long story short, I was like, "The line's so long, let's just move on and find my mate who's making this Icebox game," which we went and did, and we tried it out. But they were trying to convince us to play Hollow Knight and wait in line, and we probably would have only had to wait a couple minutes. But we were like, nah, we'll just move on. And then the crazier part is, Hollow Knight came out, and my friend remembered about it and got it like on release. And I remember going over to his place, and he was just playing Hollow Knight, and he was getting stuck in some sections, and we were trying to like play through them. I'd have a crack, he'd have a crack, and we'd still be stuck on the same boss. And I remember thinking that it looked really cool and stuff. And again, it just wasn't my kind of game. But I was like, I mean, it looks really cool. It looks really cool. Um, and I remember he was telling me like you hit the shade, like when you die, you hit the shade, and it like gives you your like geo soul or whatever the fuck back. Anyway, even at that time, we didn't realize that it was going to be a big game. Like it just came out, it was an indie game. He bought it because he'd seen it recommended on PlayStation, I think. Like it was a new release that was like recommended to him. And he remembered the developers. He remembered speaking with William. I think it was William. It might have been Ari, but I think it was William. And so he bought it and he played it. And I don't think he ever finished it 100% because he just got super busy with work and stopped playing games. But like years later, like 2 or 3 years ago, when Silksong started getting like super talked about, that is when I made the connection that like, oh, these guys, these guys that were promoting Hollow Knight in Adelaide Lake, and these like Adelaide-based developers, their game was popular. Their game that you played and you showed me and tried to convince me to buy that I never bought. Their game is like one of the most popular games of all time now. um, yeah, it's crazy. What does the vote card look like? Hey, let's see. I guess we'll never know. So when is this? Watch. Let's see. December 11th. Let's see what happens when I add that to my calendar. 11 a.m. Oh, really? Friday, 11 a.m. It's just in the middle of a workday. Oh, December 12th. Yeah, Friday, 11 a.m. Yeah. It's just in the middle of a workday. But it finishes at 3 p.m. So I reckon we're going to stream every Friday. And I reckon this Friday I might stream the Game Awards instead of the regularly scheduled programming. Maybe. We'll see what happens. But I reckon that's what we'll do. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna end here. I'm gonna stream. Hello. Whoa. This one. I just wanted to pull up my calendar. Apologies. I'm going to stream here again on Friday. I'm going to stream in a minute on my other channel. It'll be back on Twitch if you guys are on Twitch. So I will catch you guys there.